Iran shows no willingness to accept U.S. terms to end the war. Pakistani diplomats reportedly convened to regional actors, Saudi, Egypt, Turkey, that Tehran believes it has already prevailed. Crucially, Islamabad assesses that Washington is now more eager. I don't know.
Are you, as a diplomat, a career diplomat, are you embarrassed by Trump's language and his swearing and his threats?
I am concerned that a campaign which appears focused on targeting rather than strategy and strategic objective achievement is...
This guy's a fucking milsim autist over here. He's like, well, if he was using swear words while also if he was swearing while simultaneously achieving military objectives, I would be fine.
not likely to produce an Iran which is less of a threat to its neighbors and to the region, but will remain now not only in a position of sustaining those threats.
Yeah, guy who's not mad that like Iran never really presented a threat until Donald Trump egged them on or backed them into a corner where they had to become a threat. Guy who genuinely, sincerely has said Iran is a threat. It's just that Trump is not handling that threat well.
But views itself as having succeeded, having survived.
Yes.
That is not a desirable outcome here.
Let me bring back Sanam Naraghi-Andolini. A lot of people were wondering what the effect of this war would be as it goes on Iranian public opinion vis-a-vis the regime. You know, is it having the effect in Iran of uniting people against the United States and Israel?
Well, again, I think that you have to, you know, it's a population of 93 million people. People right now are experiencing carpet bombing. To suggest to them, are you going to take...
Trump said he won't annex Canada because he didn't know King Charles was our king. Oh my God, please stop. He just, oh God, it shouldn't be this easy to fucking manipulate this guy, man. First of all, why is that even relevant? Like, he should never talk about annexing Canada regardless. Secondly, why does he fucking love the royal family so much? And last but not least, how do you not know that Canada is a part of the Commonwealth? He's just wrong on every front. He's just an unbelievably stupid guy.
Sides between two nuclear powers that are bombing you and threatening to annihilate you, and a regime that at the moment is defending the territorial integrity of the country. Whatever we think about the domestic issues, these are difficult questions. The regime has, obviously, there is tremendous public dissatisfaction with the regime in terms of its treatment of its people. We need to understand in January exactly what happened. There needs to be an independent investigation in terms of the numbers, because it's absurd to say 45,000 and 50,000 dead. We don't have any evidence of that. We have an evidence of 7,000 killed, which is significant and it's huge. We also have evidence of Israeli infiltration. So it's a complicated situation, but I just want to say this. Bombing universities, bombing hospitals, bombing schools. Over 600 schools have been hit. This is targeted hitting of civilian and human infrastructure. Over 3 million people.
And it's worth saying that,
displaced.
you know, he did admit trying to send weapons to Iranian protesters. Hasn't that played into the Iranian government's hands? Because that's what they were saying was happening.
Look, I'm no fan of the Iranian regime. I'm just saying, if you imagine that in England, we suddenly hear that the Chinese are trying to bring weapons into Britain to support protesters that are protesting some issue. How would the British government respond? Okay. So we have to look at it from these perspectives. But 3.5 million people are displaced.
Absolutely cooking.
Schools and hospitals are being hit, and civilians are being hurt.
Sanam Naraghi-Andolini and David Satterfield, thank you both very much. Now, whilst Israel continues...
It is a very complex situation, so to be able to like demonstrate moral clarity throughout that process, I mean, respect.
To strike targets in Iran today, as we heard in Anushka's report. It also hit targets in Lebanon, where nearly 1,500 people have now died, and Gaza. Israeli civilians also came under continued missile fire, with casualties in northern and central Israel. Let's go to Harry Fawcett, who joins us from Jerusalem. Harry.
Yes, Christian, as you're saying, Iranian missiles again evading Israeli defenses, dropping cluster submunitions in various locations across central Israel, causing damage and injury. But a lot of the attention remaining further north on Haifa, where a ballistic missile struck, didn't detonate, but destroyed a residence.
Here's some good news. At least like Pakistani sources cited by Haaretz suggest a widening gap. In spite of everything that's going on, there's at least a little bit of fucking hope, a glimmer of hope. Okay. Pakistani sources cited by Haaretz suggest a widening gap in endgame expectations. Iran shows no willingness to accept U.S. terms to end the war. Pakistani diplomats reportedly convened to regional actors, Saudi, Egypt, Turkey, that Tehran believes it has already prevailed. Crucially, Islamabad assesses that Washington is now more eager than ever before to get a deal with Tehran. They're more eager to get a deal than Tehran is. However, and this is the negative side of things, of course, despite this, the Trump administration is still insisting on its core demands: zero enrichment, missile limits, conditions Iran continues to reject outright. If accurate, this points to a classic mismatch, one side negotiating from perceived strength, the other from urgency. It's frustrating because, unfortunately, one side has the capacity to negotiate, understands its limitations, is significantly more restrained until pushed into a corner, and then the other side is Donald Trump, a psychopath. So it's all about pressure with these guys. Ironically enough, we've spent decades talking about our enemies around the world as animals, incapable of behaving in a rational and logical manner. However, we were the animals all along. And the reason why I say that is because we are the ones who are incapable of understanding the dynamic on the ground. We are the ones who don't care about how many people we kill. We are the ones who are doing terrorism. It's just, you're still doing it? What? I don't know. And as animals, we are the only ones, we are the only party here that needs to be brought to heel in some ways. Like, we need to receive some pressure. Yes, I saw the Meat Canyon. Yes, I saw the Meat Canyon appearance, chatter. And no, it's not the average American. The average American is of different. The average American obviously is not maybe as considerate as you would expect them to be, but like the average American obviously is not in favor of any of this, unless you're talking about MAGA. But I'm specifically referencing like how states operate, and if you look at America's barbaric modus operandi, and you look at the way Iran has conducted itself so far, it's very obvious that the only way to demand, the only way to get America to stop is by showing it has to stop. America is not going to stop until American allies, American partners get to the table and tell America to stop.